Adult children of helicopter parents, how do you deal with them now?
Hold on, let me go ask my mom.
I am low contact. A lot of us go low or no contact. Unfortunately, the helicopter behavior continued after I got married and had children. Eventually, the only way to gain control was to go no contact.
I ignore them. To be honest, it's also because I'm in a different city and have a hectic job. But there was also a period of slowly getting them used to the fact that they would not know and control every detail of my adult life.
I just say no when I'm told to do something or follow a rule. I don't give a reason, even when I'm asked why. It's satisfying.
My parents weren't that bad, but they were quite overprotective. After I turned 21, I still wasn't allowed out after dark and all that jazz. Had to let them know where I was going and who I was seeing in case I was murdered. What I did was move to another continent. I talk to them every couple of weeks over WhatsApp voice chat. They try and tell me what to do sometimes and I'm just like, okay, and don't do it.
They say things, and I just kind go like I'm agreeing that I will do those things. But never verbally say I will do those things. Still pretty bad. I'm 26, married and a mom of 4. She treats me like a toddler when she visits. Thinks I'm incapable of basic things, like making breakfast or taking care of my kids. She'll hover over me while I'm changing my kids, criticizing how well I'm doing. She tries to go through my clothes and pick out outfits for me to wear. Will literally buy me clothes that look like baby clothes. It's weird. Have to set some hard boundaries with her. I don't. I'm not NC with them, but I'm absolutely firm on my boundaries and standing up for myself, and I don't let their tantrums sway me. On the other hand, the pressure does eat at me, but I'll never let them know that.
My parents track my location at all times now. I'm 27. That way they don't call the cops if I don't pick up within 30 minutes, which has happened multiple times. In Asia we call them parents. Moved to a different country. Keep contact to a minimum. Well, my mother flew a Eurocopter AS-350 and did paid tours of New York City, New York. My father flew a Bell R-1 Iroquois during a deployment to Afghanistan. My father is a retired veteran running his own bait and tackle shop, and my mom still does occasional tours from their house in upstate New York. They are both lovely and I adore them dearly, thanks for asking.
My husband deals with this with his mother. We make decisions as a married couple, then later everything changes after they talk to each other. Even situations dealing with our daughter, like I have no say even when he and I were on the same page before decisions were put into action. He is so desperate to please his mom he turns his back on me. When I confront him he blames me for causing drama or being petty. IDK his mom acts like she is his wife and he lets it happen. It grosses me out.
Stone-cold boundaries and a residence more than 1,000 miles away.
I'm 7 months pregnant and my mom had effectively bubble-wrapped me as a child and stunted my social skills quite harshly growing up. My mom keeps trying to insert herself into my doctor's appointments and barge into my house when my nursery furniture arrived, though she paid for it. My husband and I simply avoid telling her things and firmly try to explain to her that she can't throw a tantrum when she doesn't get her way, and if she keeps at it she will be ejected from our life. Still stuck in her house. Look at this as you want more details. https://www.reddit.com/r/askreddit/comments/eager7o/comments/fc61bq4 context = 1.
I am so scared my kid will feel I'm micromanaging him because he's with his dad every other week and they treat him as an adult because he's the oldest kid in that household. I give him privacy and trust and responsibilities, but he's lazy. And doesn't manage on his own because he barely tries. You all gave me a lot to think about.
1. I moved to a different country. 2. I do not go back to visit. 3. When they come visit they stay in a hotel. 4. My husband, who was not raised in an overbearing environment, is always present when they visit. He serves as a reality check and is effective in shutting down misbehavior. 5. I am going to have to explain one day that they won't be allowed unsupervised visits with any children I have.
Still live with parents. I avoid their invasive questions but am pretty honest about everything I do choose to share with them. My siblings and I are whole adults, so they try to be less insane these days. Funny, I guess, story though, the other day my sister and I were watching Pulp Fiction and my dad waltzed in our room, stared at the TV for a second and goes, "That movie is for grown-ups." My sister said, "I'm 25.
To the uninformed like me, what is a helicopter parent?
It became more manageable for my husband once he moved out of home. She's still absolutely a helicopter over our toddler, and we've come to understand her helicopter behavior was about her anxiety, so we do our best to keep her informed within reason about our whereabouts. But really, we are adults, so she doesn't need to supervise us or have contact with our employees, friends anymore. We just get used to her stalking our Facebook and Instagram."
As a son M25 of two enormous helicopter parents, all I can say is that I too wish to know lol. I went no contact almost a year ago has been the best piece in my adult life.
They still helicopter me, actually now more than ever that I'm 24 and I'm not sure what suddenly turned the dial up. However, I'm finally planning on moving out for good this year with my boyfriend. Every time I bring it up, they don't believe me or they think I'm kidding and say it isn't happening. Oh well, I did tell them. I guess they'll get a reality check when the time comes and it won't be on me. It continued even with my wife and my parents. We're helicopter parents to my wife, and so we never go to see my parents again.
Can't speak for the kids, but the spouses like to hang out on just no mill.
I mentioned having helicopter parents at one of my family gatherings. Parents were inside. Without missing a beat, my uncle corrected me saying helicopter parents. PFFT, more like AC 130 parents. To get them off back, I went the hard route of years of disappointing them till they just stopped giving a fuck. Do not recommend this route.
I'm 17, but the plan is wait for them to pay for college, get a job and place of my own, and reduce contact drastically. Only 2 to 4 visits a year, occasional phone calls but no more than once a month, enough to check in with them but not be biased around. No unannounced visits will be tolerated.
As a non-helicopter child, I am honestly stunned by how many responses here are simply no contact. Like it's the only sensible solution. It's clearly even a piece of terminology helicopter kids use. One person just abbreviated it NC. I always thought of helicopter parents as just minor annoyances. Clearly I had no idea what y'all are going through. Good luck. Sorry you have to deal with this shit. My mum had me quite young, and now that I am the age that she was when she had kids, I understand so much more about the difficulties. It helps that she's sorted a lot of her problems out now, and we have good conversations about things. She is a good friend, but I'll never be able to see her as a mother or positive parent figure. Bittersweet ending, I guess. My wife had this most of her adult life. They were always helping, but there was always a control aspect. She hardly speaks to them now and they still just don't get it. My upbringing was very different. They ultimately stole her problem-solving skills from her.
I don't. Moved 2,000 miles away the day I turned 18 and never looked back.
It's extremely annoying, and your child will resent you, not to mention a weak parent-child relationship with a base of mistrust and no privacy.
I keep my distance and we sometimes go days without talking. It's for the best, but our relationship is pretty good now. It helped to understand what was fueling it. When my mom was a teenager, there was a quadruple murder in our family where her aunt killed her 4 cousins, so I kind of made sense why my mom suddenly became hyper-paranoid when she had a kid of her own. Once I put the puzzle pieces together, it became easier to separate the behavior from the person.
Low contact. If you give them an inch they take a mile. I just try to seem as put together and stable as possible when around them. It is absolutely exhausting.
Our relationship is very strained. She resents me for wanting to be independent and I resent her for causing me to grow up anxious. Every few months I will try to be the bigger person and make amends, but it's difficult when someone doesn't see anything wrong with what they do and how they act. It doesn't help that I still live with her, not by choice. Thankfully I should be out of the house within the next few months and it should improve our relationship significantly. It has in the past.
I ignore them as much as possible. I choose my battles wisely.